Gonna record on this computer. Hi everyone, so happy to see you. It's lesson number 2 in my series of Neurographica drawings with the help of essential oils. And I just want to say a couple of things here for people who invited me. I want to thank Ina Colton. She's here among us. Let me pin her so everyone sees her. She invited me to actually spread the knowledge of essential oils and Neurographica over the world. And I'd like to also thank Natalie Harris. She's not here, but she is a true angel. I met her over our conversation online, and it was an amazing conversation. I have to say that she really has angelic power and a rare person, really. So Natalie, I appreciate you if you're watching me in recording, and Ina is here with us. All right, guys, so what I'd like to do right now, I'd like to transfer to my drawing board so I could talk about essential oils and I could do the drawing as well. So I hope you all have everything what's needed for drawing. So I've asked to purchase, I don't know if purchasing is an option, or to have whatever you have home, paper, drawing paper, right, markers. I see, Ina, I see that you show me markers, color pencils, and paper. That's all we need. And I see my students here as well. Irina, hi, darling. I see you. Christina, oh my goodness, Christina, you are awesome. Larissa is joining. All right, so all my students, you guys awesome. So let me just quickly switch to the drawing board. All right, all right. Just put it in a way that it's all visible. Okay. Okay, okay, that's good. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. In the lesson number 1, we talked about what Neurographica is and how to draw a neurographic line, what is required for that. And in this lesson, we're going to continue. So guys who missed my first lesson, and I'm still going to let people in. If you guys missed my first lesson, I have posted link in the invite, so you can go back and grab the link from there. But today I want to continue, right? We're not going to be talking about the basics. We're going to just dive into Neurographica and essential oils, how you can combine this too, okay? And I myself, I love essential oils. I'm showing you some frankincense, lavender right here. And when we're saying essential oil, when we're talking about them, we're talking about doTERRA essential oils. doTERRA, as you could see. I personally think they're the best on the market. There are some competitive companies like Young Living and some other ones, but in my experience, nothing is like essential oils that doTERRA produces. Some of them can be taken internally. I don't know, well, here, adaptive. You see that? The lavender touch also is here. So why essential oils? You know, the time like we're experiencing right now, the virus and pandemic situations, and just in the regular situations when we get sick with some respiratory illnesses, or if we have digestive problems, or have skin problems, allergy. You know, I've been using essential oils for all of that for years already. For more than 5 years, I'm using essential oils. I've got almost all of them. Maybe only the brand new ones I don't have, but the rest of them I have. And I'm using them heavily. I'm using them when I have anxiety. I'm using them when I have like a little cough, when something like cold starts, right? Immediately I apply On Guard essential oil. It's a combination of various oils. But today the subject is we're going to be working on dissolving fear, right? So basically essential oils are for everything, and I'm using them right now for all possible conditions that I'm experiencing during this isolation, right? That we're all in right now. So let's talk about fear. We're going to be focusing on that. Next time, we're going to see what we're going to be focusing on. It really depends what you guys want. I mean, fear was the number one negative emotion that was brought up to me by people who attended my first video. So that's why I've decided to work on fear. And right now, in this time when everyone is not certain what's going to happen, fear is prevailing emotion because people don't know what's going to happen when they're going to come out from this isolation and quarantine. So what we're going to do in terms of essential oils here, I'm just going to introduce you briefly, because if you want to know in details, I would suggest you to discuss it with people who invited you. I see people who I invited here. You guys, if you want to learn about more about essential oils and how to use them, you guys come to me. If you came from other sources, because we have a lot of people inviting other people, and a lot of people going to be watching and recording, maybe even more who are versus people who are attending my lesson. You guys go to the ones who invited you. But if you came from me, come back to me, I'll explain you more. So lavender, why I picked the lavender? Lavender is really amazing oil. And for me personally, it is very useful to apply lavender before going to sleep. It relaxes you almost immediately. Like really, if you had a tense day, if you have worries, if you have fears, if you have immediately when you apply it, and the way you apply it, you can put it on your wrists, right? I also put behind my ears, like perfume. Some people apply it on the back of the neck. It all depends how you're going to use it, but the result is immediate. Doesn't matter where you apply it. Okay, I tried different places. I even sprayed my pillow with that. What I've done, I've actually dissolved some lavender with some kind of like oily mixture, and I've sprayed a little bit my pillow so the smell stays overnight. Really, really helpful. And doTERRA also has lavender touch. You see how it's very convenient, because what you can do, you can open and you can apply right here. It's so easy, and it has a roll-on metallic, right? Doesn't get spoiled, because the plastic one would really go bad with essential oils. So the second one I want to talk about is a juniper berry. I only have small one, and I'm using it from time to time. What it does, it really pulls out from you the fears that hidden very deep inside of your soul, like certain things that you pushed on the back of your mind, certain things you don't want to deal with. Those fears are really intense, but we don't sense them because we suppress them so much. So juniper berry helps out to get out all the demons that really spoil our life and make our life miserable. So juniper berry would be my choice for that. And my number one, which I love and adore, adaptive. Adaptive is a relatively new mix of oils. I believe it consists of 6 oils, different oils, but the smell is just out of this world smell. It also has like metallic roll on the tip. Same effect, really works on anxiety, on fear, puts you to sleep quickly if you're restless. So you guys can definitely check it out, either with people who invited you. Also, you can Google it. But smell is just, I applied several oils and the smell is just super amazing. Okay. All right. So that's about oils. Okay. But now we're going to be talking about dissolving fear together with Neurographica. And the way we're going to be doing it, very easy, but at the same time, very, very rewarding. So what I'd like to do, and I've been introducing it in our association, Neurographic Americas Association, during our marathon, online marathon. So the way we're doing it, right? So anything can be dissolved like this, but we're working on fear, so use fear as an example. You can use something else, like if you have anxiety, or if you have some distrust to someone, or if you're uncertain about your future. That's what you can do. You can just write the word right here, here. And you write this word and you really try to invoke that inside of you. How does the fear feels like? What emotion it gives you, right? Just feel it. And we're going to be dissolving it. Very easy, right? And look, I'm using small paper size. Last time I've used much bigger one just to kind of introduce you to Neurographica. This time I'm using something smaller. You can also use um, Moleskine albums just like that. They're really good. You can write here and you can also draw, right? I'm just giving you some, oops, some hint on what you can do, because lots of people having anxiety working on large scale paper. I know my students here, they've gone through small scale and they've gone from large scale, so they really understand the difference. But if really, if you have a fear that it's going to take you a lot of time working on large scale, meaning twice bigger than this one, then use a small scale, okay? And here's what we're going to do. We're going to use neurographic lines to dissolve it. And the way I'm going to be doing it, I've talked about neurographic lines in my previous lesson. If you guys missed it, you have a full opportunity either to watch it on my YouTube channel, Amarna Neuro Art, or I have posted it in the event itself. So you can guys look at that and see what neurographic line is, how it works, why we're using it. And all about Neurographica is in the first lesson, right? So we don't want to repeat it over and over. You could just watch it right there. So we're using Neurographic lines just to remind you, for the ones who joined from the previous session. Oh, Natalie's actually trying to get in. Let me admit her. So what I've explained in the previous lesson, that neurographic line, it never forms any patterns. It flows naturally like a river. And we never know where we're going to end. Like we start, let's say, we decide to start from here, let's say, and then we just create a flow that doesn't create any pattern. And the reason for this is because we want to take you out from your comfort zone. Nothing really happens in the comfort zone. When you feel content, when you feel like you've got everything, you know everything, you're really not developing any further from that point on. You're basically stating to the universe, I know everything, universe, I'm done, basically, right? And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. Apparently, the knowledge that you can acquire from the universe is endless. And what we would like to do, we would like you to take you out of your comfort zone. So you totally see how you can deal with problems in a very simple and effective way by dissolving, just writing a word. And if you remember from the Bible verse, first was the word, and word was with God, and the God was the word, right? So if you remember that, by writing a word, we're basically stating our state of mind. I mean, if you don't have fear, you don't experience that, dissolve something else. Maybe anxiety, maybe something that, um, maybe something that bothers you. Um, it could be anything. It could be anger, right? It could be frustration. It can be something that really, really sits inside of you, and you tried everything and you still don't know how to deal with this. So you just go with that and try to work on your neurographic lines, because they are the currents of life. Basically, if you think about it, what are they? The currents of life. Because everything, whatever goes on in the universe, they really, everything, all the wiring, right, that we don't see, invisible, that goes on in the universe, it has similar pattern. And I've suggested everyone who attended my first lesson to watch series on Gaia.com called Rewired. There's a lot of explanation there about how our brain works, and you will get a full understanding of how why our method is called Neurographica and what Neurographica can do for you. Basically, in this series, also explained. Um, but we're taking it further, right? One thing to work on rewiring just by doing some exercises, meditation, yoga practice, qigong practice. Another thing is to draw. And when we have mind-body connection and we are working on our neural lines, we're creating new neurological connections here from mind-body connection, okay? There is a lot of psychology and philosophy underneath this practice. You know, and some people were writing to me after my first lesson. They were saying, can you please create a video with the presentation on how Neurographica works and what it's all about? I guess that's what I would need to do, because then you would have a full understanding. And I'm gonna post this video on my YouTube channel called Amarna NeuroArt. It is in the flyer. Let me write it right here again. You go to YouTube and you just search on Amarna NeuroArt, just like that, okay? And the website is called amarnaneuroart.com, one word. So when we have enough of lines here, what we want to do, we need to connect them through a special practice called rounding. What rounding does, rounding is really connecting all these lines, all these currents that go through the page, and they create those roundings, really create this new neurological connections, or activating the dormant ones as well. Why are we saying that? Because on the practice, in, you know, in Russia, they did extensive research, and in Switzerland as well, where the headquarters are in Zurich, Switzerland. They've done extensive research, and it's absolutely proven that with this practice, you can totally reprogram your brain to your liking. You don't want to be anxious anymore? You can, through Neurographica, you can certainly do so. And whatever I'm showing you, the easiest possible way to dissolve your negative emotions. There are other ways of doing it, but for that, you would need to take educational course. I'm offering it, level 1, level 2. Level 1 is the user level, where we're teaching you how to take your emotions under control. And the level 2 teaches you how you can become a coach using Neurographica technique. So that I'm teaching it, and level 2 I'm teaching together in partnership with instructor from Moscow, Svetlana Safonova. So you guys definitely can reach out to me on that. And also be teaching Rewired for Abundance program. It's an advanced level Neurographica program for anyone who wants to reach the top of the line with this method. I have my students here. So I'm so happy they joined me today. So we're offering a lot of things, guys. You just need to, if you really incline towards changing yourself, transformation, helping yourself drawing and through neurographic practice, then you can definitely reach out and we can talk about this. Plus, if you applying lavender oil during the practice, or you applying adaptive, that definitely can increase your level of working through deep negative emotions. You really need to take them out from your system, because they're robbing you from your vital energy. And sometimes we feel overly tired, overly kind of suppressed, right? Some people say, I don't know, I feel tired. But sometimes it's not a physical way that people experience. They may experience psychological kind of exhaustion, right? From all the media that comes, Look, it's disappearing right in front of our eyes. You see that? We're basically overriding it. In the same way, our brain overrides our emotional reaction to everything that goes on right now, right? Um, I don't want to emphasize even whatever happens right now, because a lot of people still going through life. A lot of people are working, not only from home, they're going to work. A lot of my friends going to work. So they may face same problems that we used to face with our co-workers, with people who we report to at work, family issues. All of this can be totally addressed through this practice. So anytime when you feel suppressed, upset, if maybe you had a conflict in the family with your kids, with your parents, you could definitely just jump on this practice and put some meditation, put some meditative music that would help you, and get some oils, get this beautiful essential oils. But I advise you not to buy it on Amazon or anywhere else, because we don't know what's there. Sometimes people reporting that they're getting fake oils or diluted oils. You don't want this. You really want to get good essential oils coming from people who distribute them. That's the only way to be sure that they are pure and trusted. Okay. I forgot to mention that to you. It is an important thing to keep in mind. So what we're doing right now, we're dissolving everything that bothers us. You know, I have my friend and a student as well. She reported back to me with this practice that she had an allergic reaction on her hand. She was doing something and she had an allergy. Then she told me it was really bad. And um, she put some oils on top of that for allergy. And then she was just completing her drawing, just whatever we do here. She had some emotional state, negative state. She said she was upset with something, whatever was going on in her life. And she said it was like almost felt like a miracle, like her allergy dissolved, like the reaction, that rash that she had on her skin, all together with the oils and with the practice of Neurographica, got dissolved. And I think she even wrote about it somewhere. I just need to see where she wrote about this. She gave me testimonial on this. And I've heard reports from a lot of people saying that, oh, I had a headache, I dissolved it. One of my friends and my student from Spain, she told me she was able to dissolve flu. That's what she said. It's like a side effect. We don't see that with any of this, not with the oils, not with Neurographica. We don't have a right to say that we're treating anything, or that it's a legitimate way to treat any disease. We don't have this right, because FDA has strong rules against that, and that's not what we're saying. What we're saying, if it happened to you, it's good, and you could try for yourself. And if it works for you, it's beautiful. For some people, it may not work. So that's why really everyone chooses for themselves on what to do, and draw, not to draw, use the oils, not to use oils. Some people take oils internally, some people take oils only externally, but need to be very careful with the brand, right? So I would only recommend doTERRA, because that's what I use, and I would never recommend it if I would not be madly in love with that. And guys who are attending my class, they know me. Some of you, my students, for already a couple of years, been studying with me. They know I only speak of what I feel and whatever I had experienced with. All right, so we continue. We continue working on rounding, creating those connections, and creating neurographic pattern. What is neurographic pattern? It is something that creates something totally recognizable. Like if you look at this, and I was showing it at my first lesson, look at this. It's a pure neurographic pattern. You see all these fluid lines, they interconnected through rounding. This work is pretty complex, by the way. It took me several hours to do, but it's beautiful, and very recognizable for people who understand and study Neurographica. they would definitely recognize it immediately, right? Let me just show you some other things. And like this mandala, for example, also totally recognizable pattern with fluid lines and certain way of coloring. So I've showed some other ones in my first lesson, so you could go back and look at that. But we continue with the rounding. And please note, what do you feel inside? When we work with Neurographica, we are kind of looking at our reactions, our transformation on 3 levels: emotional, physical, and mental. And what do I mean by that? When we're rounding, do we feel any expansion in the body? Or do we feel that we're holding our breath, that we need to get up and stretch and relax and just breathe through and maybe drink some water? Okay. Sometimes all of the sudden we may have a traveling pain in the body. That means that we touched something very important, something that is sitting inside and is not giving up so easily. Some people are reporting headache because it requires some um, attention, and our brain is not used to this. You know, we used to do something easy. Well, I would not say it's easy. It's not hard, but it's not super easy. So our brain needs to kind of like get used to this practice, and that may cause you some body effect like headache or tension in your neck, your shoulders. In this case, what I would advise you to do, just to get up, walk around, and see if it helps you out to relax. All right, you guys, do you see, guys, anything here? We just dissolve it. We dissolve the whole word fear, right? And here you can dissolve anything: anxiety, pain. It could be body pain that you are dissolving. It could be emotional pain that you're trying to dissolve. It could be anything here. All right. All you need to do is just to write it across, or to write it just like that, anyhow you want. You want to write it like this, no problem, vertically. Doesn't really matter, right? And it's interesting how things start disappearing inside. You can, guys, comment if you want. We do have a chat here via Zoom. While you're drawing, maybe you have some questions. I will try to answer as many of them as possible. And if not, you guys can email me your work at info@rewiredforabundance.com. You can email me with your questions about Neurographica. I will answer all of them. And if you want to share with me your drawing, I would love to see them. All right, so we continue. And with that, we're looking at the body reaction, emotional reactions, anything changing emotionally during this process. Do you feel a switch? Do you feel like something switching inside of you? Like you are kind of like getting into a different state of mind. Like, let's say if you started with fear, and then all of a sudden you are feeling like calm and kind of like in the meditative state. That's what you need to really watch for. What is your reaction? What is your reaction? And if you feel like you don't have enough lines, you can always add another line. Always, just, you know, if you feel like, oh, I don't think I have enough, just add it up. So easy. Add it up. And again, we have chat here, guys. If you go to chat, it's below the screen. You can post your questions here. And on the mental level, we're also looking at how our thoughts are changing. You know, right now I'm talking, and of course I'm interfering with your thought pattern. But when you're going to be implementing this practice, just, you know, see how your thoughts are changing. Sometimes my students are telling me, oh, I forgot what I was working on. I totally forgot. what I was working on. I don't remember. When they start working on something negative, like, oh my God, why I don't even remember what it was. And it happens a lot. Why? Because we're working through this. We're creating new neurological connections. We are totally rewiring our brain for something positive, right? It's nice to think about something positive when you're drawing that. And look at this. While I'm doing it, I already see something that resembles a circle. And I would like to actually to finish the circle by creating the actual circle on top of that, just like that, to complete the circle. That's what I'm doing. You can also draw a circle if you feel like you really want to add a figure on top. You can definitely add a circle. You can also add a square. And I'm teaching it all of this in my first lesson, how to do that. So you could go back later and watch this video with lesson number 1. And what happens when we draw a circle? Circle is a very special figure. Circle is a holistic figure because if you think about it, you can fit any geometrical figure inside of the circle. That's why in Neurographica we say you can always use circles to kind of like round up internally and feel whole, not feeling totally distracted. That's what helps you out to get rounded, to get back to yourself. And that's what we're doing here. With this practice, we are going back to whole. And why I'm saying this, because when we are in a negative state of mind, we are kind of separated from ourselves. We all emerged into the negative state that is really doing really bad thing for us in a way that it poisons us and really lowers down our immune support and brings all the negative. Instead of getting away from this, our energy is going into the negative state, okay? And that's what we're trying to avoid. We really want to go back to the state of calmness, balance. If you would be able to bring back state of joy and happiness, that's even better. It's even better than that. You see how it is? So you don't have to round the whole thing in this case. Just round till the point where you feel like, okay, I had enough of rounding. You can always finish rounding with other things. And let's just start coloring. Like last time when I was giving the lesson, I just showed very basic way of coloring figures. But now I really want to show you how you can color the entire drawing. Okay, very simple drawing. It is done on the small paper for your convenience, so you can always take it with you, take color pencils, take markers, and so there are no excuses for you not to do this work. I have a student who is 84 years old. Her name is Peggy, and Peggy is the first American English-speaking professional who completed my level 1, level 2. And now she's got her own community and she's teaching online, 84. And she's not in a perfect health, but her spirit is so strong. So when people come to me and they're saying, oh, I'm too old to learn this method, or I don't know how to draw, or would I be able to understand this whole concept? Guys, 84 years old lady who came to me and she became a superstar, okay? It all really depends on how much you want this, how much. For people who really want this and who are falling in love with this, they're getting amazing results, totally amazing. I've got my students here. in this class, and I know what kind of results they've got over the course of studying with me and doing this practice. Okay, so, and it's very easy. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to know how to draw. It's all about lines, geometrical figures, okay, and coloring. That's all what it's all about. So nothing to be scared, nothing to be afraid of. And we're going to be using various colors. So in the Neurographica, we are using colors in a very special way. We don't really color all over. We're only coloring using um, using the space between the markers. You see, like, for example, I'm just going like that. I just colored inside of the marker. Okay, it created the borders, and that's what I do. And in Neurographica, we're trying to color together 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 components together. You see this? So we're not just coloring anywhere we want. It's not going to work in Neurographica. It has to be divided by marker, the space where we're coloring. And we never color just one. We color, as I said, 2, 3, 4, and more than that. And here's what I'm doing, right? I'm creating composition here, just using colors that I've selected. And we're always doing it intuitively, because when people just start drawing, the first question is, should I color here or there? Should I pick this color or that color? And my answer to this, we're doing everything intuitively. The only rules that you need to think about, that if you use blue, let's say here, you need to use it somewhere else. If you use green, use it somewhere else. So from aesthetic view, you are getting beautiful drawing that has a lot of sense. That's what, that's the rule. And also the rule is that you are coloring within the boundaries of the marker segments, okay? And you're coloring several segments at the same time. That's the rule. Everything else, intuitive. You really need to be intuitive with what you do and be creative. Try it. You know, it's not going to go to Museum of Art anywhere. It's going to stay with you. So it's totally up to you to try and see what you're getting. Some people getting beautiful work immediately. For some people, it requires more time. But people who came to me and who said, like, I don't know how to draw, I need time to learn. And if they dedicate it, they're getting fantastic results. Look, isn't that pretty already? I think it's already getting somewhere like to the state where it looks nice, pretty, beautiful. Just want to do some dark blue here. I don't know. Sometimes when we're drawing, we don't even know what to expect. And we're getting some clues. What kind of clues? Like some symbolic images are coming up, but it is a side effect of this work. We never fish for any symbolic images in our drawings. We just color and then we see what happens. At the end, you may see something that is really interesting, and it really helps you out to understand your inner struggles, or it may contain a clue on how you should react on certain things. And I've done it so many times, like in my course, my level 1, people have seen it so many times, what happens during the drawing. Here is more like, I don't want to bring you to the deep level, right? We're only introducing here Neurographica and how it works and how essential oils can help out in the process, emotional, physical. But the idea is just to draw and see what we're getting. And if we're getting something interesting, some symbolic images at the end, then what we usually do, we fixate them on the paper. I'll show you. If I get one, I'll get one. If I don't get one, that is totally fine. That's not a goal. The goal of that is just to create a beautiful drawing that is really really complete. And most important, you should not feel the level of fear or any other negative emotion with which you have started. Like I would even say, note in the intensity of your negative emotion, just say from 0 to 10, I feel 8, for example. But when you finish, you should feel much less than that. Or it may be gone completely, uh, totally gone from your system. Okay. I've seen it so many times when people were like finishing and saying, I don't even remember what I worked on. But not in this particular algorithm, because it's easy to remember. You use the word, right, for that. So you could remember word, but your emotion can be gone. That's for sure. That happens. But when you're using some other ways of dissolving things, then um, you definitely may find yourself in a state where you are forgetting what was that negative thought or emotion you worked on. It's totally happening, and I've seen it so many times. You see that? We're already getting some sort of composition, and I don't even know what it's all about, but it feels nice. The colors, the way they collaborate with each other. That's what you need to watch on. You really need to see how you respond to the colors that you're using. What some people are telling me, well, I've selected colors for my coloring and I hate them. I don't like those colors. You know what? You can always change it if you take some other colors and put them on top of the ones you don't like. Let's say you wanted to do green and you've done yellow, put some green on top of that. Do something in order to change it. What I love about Neurographica, it's absolutely impossible to spoil your drawing. Totally, totally impossible to do that. You can change anything. You can add lines. You can do whatever you want. Some people I know, like when people really get into Neurographica, they do multi-layered drawing. Like they do a drawing, then they come back and they creating a drawing on top of drawing and also multi-layered markers on top. Like you could use some golden markers, you can use some silver, you can use some white ones. You can do that, definitely. But here we're just using simple technique for you to get introduced and to have a taste of the practice, really to develop your taste for this kind of drawing that doesn't require anything. It's just your patience, your desire to learn, and you don't even need to color the entire drawing. You could just color the parts that make sense to you, that talk to you, that really, you know, um, create the beautiful drawing. Because from the aesthetic perspective, if you don't like what you draw, you're most likely not going to repeat the drawing. But in the beginning, remember, not everyone from the first time are getting into the practice of drawing and liking what they do. Like some people saying, oh, I tried that, I hated it. I know some people came to me from other teachers and they saying, I didn't get it, I don't know what they're explaining, I don't understand that, what it's all about. um, well, again, for people who really want to learn, I'm open and I'm ready to explain everything in details if you're ready to take a course. But for now, I just want you to enjoy. I want you to enjoy the practice and just see how you react on each color. Like I'm selecting blue, green, lilac, yellow. Yellow is always nice to add to Neurographica drawing. Because yellow brings that energy of sun, energy of gold. It lights up the entire drawing. So if you feel gloomy, if you really feel down, yellow will bring you up. The red color will bring you up as well if you use red, because red is a hot color, really. That's why sometimes when we feel sad or we feel tired, we like to sit in front of a fireplace and watch watch the flame. Why? Because it contains the colors and also the energy that brings us up. Also, it's meditative. But here, I haven't been using red because if you have an anxiety, you don't want to use red. It's going to increase that level. I'm only talking about if you feel down, you feel sad, that would work then. Okay. Otherwise, just use like calm, beautiful, smooth colors like I'm using here. I'm using here colors that would calm me down, make me feel good, make me feel like I'm totally in control, balanced. Everything, my emotions are balanced, my state of mind is balanced, everything is balanced here. And you know, for me, myself, right, I'm drawing and I'm also watching how I feel, what's going on inside of my body. How do I feel emotionally? Am I calm? Do I feel like I'm really working through everything that bothers me? Am I really dissolving the negative state of fear? Because that's what we're working on right now. If you guys working on something else, just look at yourself and see, is it working for you? Is it helping you to get through this negative state? Look at me, what I'm doing here. I don't have any lines here, but it doesn't mean I can use some shading. Here I can use just some shading to create kind of like um, faded color. Like it's kind of like fading, right? It's got a shade and now it's fading. And that's it. Look, it looks beautiful. It really does. Shading. But we usually do this when we're creating kind of like 3D effect that everything is not just flat. You could use something like that for creating this 3D. And here also I would like to use something, same kind of shading. I can use right here. You see what I'm doing? You may not see it very well right here. Let me just show you closer to the camera. Right, I'm just going to do a little bit of shading. Just like that. And now at the end, what we usually do, we're adding some lines that go across the whole drawing. And those lines are called field lines. I'm just trying to think what would be the best color to use here. And we're also doing it with the marker. So I would like to add some green field lines. Why we call them field lines? Because they go through entire drawing, just like that. And they have a very powerful charge, electric charge, emotional charge that really send the whole thing that we've completed here to the universe. It's almost like the sound Om, right? It has that power to ignite the energy of the universe to accept what we've been doing here. Some people getting the concept of field lines later in their educational process, because in the beginning people don't really like it. They have resistance. A lot of people have resistance towards them. Not everyone, but a lot of people. I have to admit, I was resistant towards them. But later I kind of recognized the power of, and I felt it, and that's why I've changed everything. You see this? And now we can say we completed the drawing. And if I would find any symbolic kind of creature here, like sometimes I see something symbolic, and just to give you explanation of what it is, like if you look at this drawing, we've been drawn together with my teacher and online, and that was the year of a dog. If you remember, it was like a couple of years ago. And all of a sudden, I see the symbolic image of a dog going across of the drawing. With, I really created this white outline with all of that. And I just found this dog. I never meant to draw a dog. It just came out to me. And look, it's holding like a bag with gifts and things for New Year. That's what I mean. Sometimes we see something more than just abstract drawing. It really jumps on us to show us that there is something else um, that we can see through this practice. And another thing, what I'm doing usually, I'm rotating drawing just to see, maybe I can get a different meaning when I rotate. And I may or I may not, it really depends. But I always ask my students, why don't you rotate and see if something, you see something. And you see, like right now, what I see here, and the first thought that comes to your mind, uh, I just see some sea creature right here. And when it happens, I like to really fixate the image, and that's what we call fixation. It is a common practice in Neurographica. If something really flirts with us, the term flirt was brought up by Arne Mendel in his process psychology process work. Um, when we see something and all of the sudden it brings um, some idea, or we see some creature, or we see maybe a message that's coming through. And that's what I see here. I see some sea creature, more like a seal, you know, resembling seal, carrying this beautiful sphere, just like that. That's why I'm always asking people, my students, to rotate it. Maybe you're gonna catch something here in the drawing that would mean something to you. I don't know what it means to me here. I don't know yet, but it may surface later on. It may surface later on when maybe all of a sudden I would see a movie with this, or I may see a picture resembling that. It's almost like in a dream. We see something in a dream, and all of a sudden it comes through. That's exactly how I feel about it. And of course, I would keep it this way. So my drone goes that way, that regional one, okay? But when I've rotated it, it made much more sense to me than the original drone. So I would say this is a complete drawing. Next time we're gonna be working on some other emotions, or maybe thought patterns. I'll create the introduction video so everyone will have it. You will understand where Neurographica came from, about me, what I'm doing, my practice. You will get much better understanding. But we still have about 4 minutes. I can unmute you if you would like to. You can ask me questions. I'll unmute it, all of you. You guys can unmute yourself and just raise your hand so I can see you, or just speak up. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer. You can also type in the chat window right here. We have a Zoom group chat. Please ask me any questions. You guys, I see like some people still drawing.
Margarita,
Yes.
can I ask you a question, please?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so my problem when I draw is to enter the color into the drawing.
Oh,
I always get very like stressed when I have to pick the color, or actually I love the whole process except for when I have to enter the color.
Or I've seen it so many times. People come to me and they saying, I love the whole process, but when it comes coloring, I'm having anxiety, I'm having problems. Here's what I suggest in this case. So you take all your pencils into either a bag or into a box, and just go inside just like this, and don't even look, and like pick colors. See what I picked?
Right.
And just color with whatever you pick. First of all, it's going to develop your sense of that you would be okay with any color. It will create something even bigger than just picking colors on purpose. It's going to get you out of your comfort zone. and it will make you to push yourself to do something creative that you picked without even thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of my students, it worked amazingly. And you're not the first one. A lot of people telling me this. And blindly picking 3, 4, 5, 6 colors, it is helping to cure this kind of block that comes when you're about to color your drawing. It's a
Mm-hmm.
good practice, in other words.
Yeah, I will definitely try that.
Yeah,
Another thing about also about the color, but different question is how do you choose how much of a certain figure you color? I mean, is there like
you mean where
mm,
to start?
no, not where to start. No, for example, you start to color the whole circle. How
Yeah,
do you choose to color half a circle, the whole circle,
it's a
or
good
how many
question.
pieces, or you
Mhm.
know?
Yes, it is a good question. It's all intuitive. Sometimes I don't like to color just geometrical figure. I just don't feel like. I go with my feelings. That's why we're saying we're working on 3 levels: mental, emotional, physical,
Mhm,
right? You look at your drawing, you have your colors, right?
mhm,
And then you look at this and you don't even give too much time and thinking where you're going to start, or you're going to be coloring the whole thing, or you're going to be coloring kind of in the flow. You don't argue and don't think too much. I think the overthinking in this process, that's what creates problems. You look at this and you like, okay, let me try to color this entire circle, and you just go with that. And then
mhm,
let me try to add color here and do this immediately. Don't overthink. I think overthinking is killing the creative process.
mhm.
And if you
Right.
would decide to color just part of it, you would color and then immediately take another color pencil and color next part, not thinking too much. That's what I'm doing always. Like my students know the way I do things, I don't overthink. I select and I just go with that. And you know what? I don't even have one work that I wouldn't like. I like all my work. Why? Because it opens up my creativity. I experiment with colors. I'm learning more. And then when I rotate it, it gives me different meaning. You see that? It's
Yeah.
like something totally different here
It
going
looks
on.
beautiful, actually.
Thank
Looks
you.
amazing. I love it. I really
Thank
love it. Yeah.
it
But
is amazing.
right, yes, it is. I find myself that I always want to color, like if it's a circle, I want to color the whole circle. If it's a square, I want to color the whole square.
Where?
And I even try to kind of force myself not to do that. I
That's what
feel
you need to do. You need to force yourself. That's where development starts, right? When we're
right.
settling in the comfort zone, what happens in the comfort zone? We feel comfortable. We already know, okay,
Mm,
it's predictable. It's predictable. You telling yourself, oh, I see circle, then I'll color circle. I see triangle, I color triangle.
right.
You are, at the end, what happens? You are getting geometrical figures colored together with neurographic patterns, okay? But in order for you to get out from this, in order for you to get to the next level, you really, if you feel like I want to color the whole thing, do totally opposite. And you need to force yourself for that. You say to
Right.
yourself, I know I'm in a comfort zone, but the whole idea of Neurographica is to get out from the comfort zone, not to get stuck. When I see them, people draw a lot of circles, like my teacher is saying, you can draw as many circles as you want. Why? Because you feel good. When you draw circles, 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 you feel fantastic. Why? Because it brings you back to a balanced state of mind. But I know people who got hooked on circles and all they want to do is to draw circles. Then I tell them, stop drawing circles. Just stop it. Do something different. Don't draw any geometrical figures. Do like patterns. Do something else. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the whole idea of this practice, not to get stuck in the comfort zone. Constantly push yourself out. Try this way, try another way, try coloring part, then try picking colors blindly, like, two you know, like I took like 5, 6 colors, I put them and just color with them, see what happens, and color not using geometrical figure or in the flow, just color in the flow. So your geometrical figure is not even visible. That's what's going to take you out of from the comfort zone, definitely. And then you will love it. You would say, whoa, now I have a choice. I can either color a figure, or I can color the entire flow, right? With one color and another color. You getting your freedom of creativity. That's the idea, to unpack it. You're unpacking your freedom for creativity. And you would always love your work. Like I love every piece that I've created, ever. So that's the idea. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. And actually, it's funny enough because the same thing happens in my life, not just in the drawing, but in my life when it comes to me coming out to the, you know, to the uncomforting zone. It's
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really like tense, and I'm really scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I find this, I find the same pattern with the drawing. Then, I feel the same way. If I would like to color the circle, and I know that I need to enter another color, it gives me a little bit of an anxiety when I want to do that.
It's okay. I mean, if you would be a beginner, I would just tell you, try to draw, watching my free videos on my YouTube. But you're already a graduate,
Right,
right?
exactly.
From the
No,
first
yes,
level. So
yeah,
I would say push yourself. Push
yeah,
yourself
that's what
out
I
of the
need to
comfort
do,
zone.
exactly.
Yeah,
I need to push myself. It's more of
right?
a, now it's more of like a, emotional process, not the knowledge, but the emotional process that I need to kind of go through, and try to make myself go someplace where I'm not comfortable. Yeah.
That's true. And Deepak Chopra said that we need to learn how to step into unknown, because from
Unknown,
wherever
yes.
we are not developing anymore. We're completing our development. Once we
Yes.
step out from the comfort zone, once we go into unknown, that's where our development starts. And we need to push the boundaries all the time. You got out from this zone, you got here, then you need to get out from this again, constantly pushing your limits.
Right.
And that's how you're
Yeah,
going to create beautiful work. That's
I
what
know.
pushes you towards your own limitations, right? Like you think, oh,
Right.
this is my limitation. But when you get out from that thinking pattern, all of a sudden you see, oh my God, there's so many other things that I can do, empowering yourself. So just work on that and do algorithm of removing inner limitations. Try to avoid geometrical figures for now. Try to work with only with lines and rounding and colors. See how you feel. And the
Yeah.
beauty of Neurographica, you don't need to get it through your life circumstances. You don't need to push yourself out of the comfort zone. You can do it on the paper first, get mastered on the paper, then apply to your life as well. And it's going
Yeah.
to mirror back to your life. Whatever you do on the paper, mirror it back through the mirror neurons. It really reflects back to your life.
I
Yeah.
totally agree. Yes. And you know what helps?
What helps?
The
Essential oils.
essential oils. Yes, the
That's for
essential oils.
sure. I know
Yes.
that. I love them. Oh,
They do.
frankincense.
They do. They broaden your horizon. They open up, uh,
Right.
ways of, like, ways of you feeling more, mm, how do you call it? Like,
Higher
mm,
vibrations. That's what it's all
yes,
about.
exactly. High vibrations. Yeah, I was
Mhm.
trying to, search for the word, but it gives you the spunk, a little bit of craziness.
Mhm.
Uh, it releases those fears, basically. Yeah,
They do. I love them. I've got all the possible
yeah.
oil and I'm using them
Me
heavily.
too. Me too. I
Okay.
love them also.
Fantastic. Guys, do you have any, Ina, thank you so much. Do you have any more questions? Because we're a little bit past the time, so please ask. I'm gonna allocate 5 more minutes for anyone who still have a question. If not, then we're gonna
Thank you.
All right. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna upload this video on my YouTube. I'm gonna also send this video to Ina Colton. She's gonna collect all my videos for Natalie. I don't know, Natalie, if I know she joined, but I don't know if she was with us all the time. I guess she just joined and dropped. But this video is gonna be available. You guys, please don't feel shy.
Oh,
Oh, let's see, Isabella. Why don't
beautiful.
you, Isabella,
It looks gorgeous.
share it?
It
I
looks
just
really pretty.
look at this. How pretty!
It looks
Oh my
very
goodness.
pretty.
Is this
Very
the first
pretty.
time you're doing it?
Yes.
Oh my God! Look at that natural
Looks
incline. That's very
beautiful.
cool. Natural incline towards Neurographica.
Thank you.
Very
I
cool.
love it.
Maybe anybody else wants to share what you guys been, even if it's not finished, please share. Isabella, did you enjoy the process?
Yeah.
Actually, everybody has such a beautiful, pictures.
Oh,
I love all of them.
Look at that. Yeah, she's
This
got
is
some problem
mine.
with camera, but it's beautiful too. I can see the colors, the green, the yellow.
And pink.
Wow, you guys really amazing. Okay, that's Christina's. Let's see, Christina. Oh goodness, look at you. But your work is amazing. You're like very original with everything what you do. And Christina is my student. She actually takes a lot of classes. Beautiful, Christina. That's amazing. Anybody else wants to share? Alina, maybe you want to share with us? Or you feel shy? Let's see. Oh, look at that. Like mother, like daughter. You absolutely got the concept. Totally.
It's very pretty.
And with the lines, you guys rule. Amazing, amazing, guys. Really fantastic work, everyone. I appreciate it. You guys don't feel shy sending to me over Facebook Messenger. If you want to share, like if you want to get my thorough review, I posted my email address, info@rewardforabundance.com. That's my company, Reward for Abundance. It's our academy. Just don't hesitate sharing and asking questions. I'm always open for anybody who's interested in Neurographica. All right, darlings, you have a fantastic day. And Christina joined from Europe. You have a great night. And I'll see you next Wednesday. It's going to be the same time, right? 3 p.m.
Yes, it's every Wednesday the same time. Yes, thank you.
Right.
Thank you everyone for joining us.
Yes,
All of you have an amazing works. Everybody's look different but beautiful,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So I'm going to make an announcement. I'm going to make another event on Facebook. I'm going to include both videos from lesson number 1, lesson 2. Hopefully by this time, I'm going to do my recorded lesson about what Neurographica is, where it came from, so you get more exposure to the method. But I'm happy you enjoyed it. You've done your beautiful drawings, ladies. And I'll see you next Wednesday.
I would like to say one more thing.
Sure,
If you
Ina.
have somebody who would want to also, get to know the Neurographica, you can also send them the links from those
From the
videos
videos.
so they can watch, and then maybe they can attend the class next time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for saying that, Ina. All right, guys. Bye now. Have a fantastic day. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.